Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a quick video on the latest update to the SDK. There were quite a few sort of important updates that kind of um, changed the way that of how you develop and sort of different functionality within the SDK. So I thought it might have been good to start a little short video on these updates. So let's dive into it. The first major one is now front end support is starting to be added to the SDK. As you can see with this first bullet here, an important part of this is downloading Node.js. So if you don't have Node.js downloaded, you go to the website nodejs.org. Should look something like this, and download the latest source for your machine. And once you do that, you should be able to go find, if you run dfx build on your project, it'll actually automatically run the npm run build command, and it'll build off this package.json file. And this file should be automatically generated for you, so you shouldn't have to worry about that at all. And also note that at the end here, they do say this is still experimental and functioning. More functionality and documentation will be added soon, so I don't really want to get into this, dig a lot into this quite yet until they have the official documentation out. But if you go to your own hosted point on your computer, which should be localhost, or according to your address here, which is 127.0.0.1, and then colon the port number, and this you can change the port number here. It's automatically set to 8000 here. So if I go to my own local host and I go to 8000 with the port number 8000, I'll get this loading, please wait. And this is grabbing right from the assets folder there. So, and again, more functionality and guides on how to do this will come later. So I'll probably do a video on that at a later time when that documentation is provided. Another one is the dfx upgrade command. So you no longer have to go and run the curl command specifically every time there's a new update to the SDK. So actually right now, I just want to show that I am running the latest version right now, so I'm not going to do the upgrade, but for any future upgrades, you could just run dfx upgrade and you should be able to get the latest version. Also, just as a reminder, if you want to see all the new commands on the version you're running, you can run dfx-help, and you should see all the latest subcommands. You can see upgrade is now added. Also, just as a reminder, I want to show you that you can drill into each one of these. So say you want to do the canister subcommand and you want to see the subcommands for the canister, you can do that. So you can basically do dfx canister call, and this says what you can do within each one of those. So that's just a little helpful reminder. But let's get back into it. Also, now when you're creating a new project, you used to have to rename your directory folders for the correct name of your project. You no longer have to do that. It now does it automatically for you, which is a great thing. Let's just show an example of that. Let's just create dfx new test. And before, we used to have to rename all of our folders and subdirectories to test because it would automatically go to hello. So let's go to the one I just created. If we go into our source, we can now see this is now test. This is correct. We no longer have to rename that. And also, if we look in our dfx file, we can see that all the path names are correctly created according to our project name. And that's really good, because it wasn't really a hindrance, but it was kind of an annoyance, and that's good that is now set up for us to just start creating new projects and get started quickly. And alright, next one is basically that you can now format the configuration. So let me just do this real quick. Basically, the dfx file that I actually just had open a little while ago, dfx config, I'm going to do that. As you can see here, we now have an option to format it. So we can run form dash dash format, and as the default it's JSON. Most of you are probably still going to want the default JSON because it's easy to read and easy to use, but if for whatever reason you can now set it to text, so you could go dash dash format and then text if you want to switch it to text instead of JSON. Next one. This one's kind of a biggie. If you can no longer create new projects with the dash in between. So if you wanted to create projects like, let's call it DFX new hello dash world. This is no longer a valid name. It would have to be an underscore. So it would have to be a DFX new hello underscore, or if we want a break between our names in order to create a new project. That's just a helpful reminder. Also, if you've created projects before downloading this, those projects with the dashes in them probably will not work. You can try renaming them to underscores, but you might run into problems, so I suggest just probably copying the code over into a new project created from scratch with the underscores. And this one is a little more involved, but I'll just to give a quick overview. Basically, if you're passing some sort of object into a function, that object has attributes has different attributes. You should now match them with the correct type annotations if you were going to take those attributes from the object and then use them and bind them to the local variables within the functions. This is new. If anybody wants a larger explanation for this one, or they don't really understand it, you can make a comment or something. I might make a video on exactly what this is saying if you don't understand. And also, just quickly wrap this video up. A lot of the tutorials have been updated with the latest for this SDK release, 0.4.11. So if you ever want to go back and look at some of the tutorials, they should now be updated, and there've been a few more added. I think if you go to here, which is the Developer Center, which is just under this sdk.dfinity.org/developers-guide, you'll get here, and this has plenty of tutorials, getting started, command line references, pretty much everything you need to start writing programs, especially if you want to get into it, writing the tutorials with actors. There's a lot of these have been updated with the latest SDK releases, so if you ever want to get into that would be a good time. That's pretty much all I had. If you got any questions, feel free to comment, leave feedback, any concerns or anything else below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.